Rockers, moshers, and the vinyl CD community. Welcome to the Metal Connection, the connection to all things metal. I'm J-Dub, and today on the show, I'm actually going to be doing a vinyl community video, I suppose you'd call it. So what this actually is I found myself getting into the LP vinyl purchases collection. I started collecting vinyl. So how this actually all happened was I started going so far down the punk hardcore crossover thrash realm. I started digging so far down the rabbit hole of that genre, like a hardcore crossover thrash, just kind of all those blend. Is I've gone so far down the rabbit hole that you cannot actually get much of that stuff on CD, so I've actually resorted to having to get a lot of it on vinyl. So this is all kind of how my vinyl collection started. Just going, I'd say a lot of metal has been discovered. Pretty much every obscure metal band has been discovered, but these hardcore crossover thrash bands never quite got discovered. So they never got those CD re-releases by the Metal Blades and the bigger record labels. So these were obscure, like punk hardcore crossover thrash bands that never got discovered and never got released ever on CD. So here we are, and I'm gonna go through all this stuff. I'm just gonna turn up the music a little bit louder, but a lot of it is I'm gonna not even really need to give much of a description, because a lot of it is either punk hardcore crossover, or crossover thrash. So if you're really into thrash music and you are getting sick of the same old bands that you're listening to, I'd say start writing some of this down based on cool covers or whatever, and look for something different if you are getting sick of the same old thrash bands. Is a lot of this hardcore crossover thrash was a lot of young, fresh ideas, energetic, fast music. So that's why I kind of fell in love with a lot of it. It's not all in that realm. I got some heavy metal and some things like that, and also some heavy metal stuff that wasn't too standard on CD. It's kind of rare or obscure, and it's actually I found it just to be cheaper. I'm able to get it cheaper on vinyl than I am if it were to be on CD. So that's another thing I fell into, where a lot of these things, if I shop right, if you bundle together, you can get a lot of it cheaper on vinyl than you were if it were to be a CD. So that's another thing of how I fell into this as well. So I'm going to start ripping through some of this stuff. A lot of it's going to be names you've never heard of. It's all going to be obscure. I will try to differentiate when it is hardcore crossover thrash and just standard heavy metal. So just bear with me for 1 second. I'm just going to crank the music a little bit higher here. Oh, there we go. Cool. Oh, there we go. And I'm playing some music by Soul Charge here, some alternative punk music. I'd say they're just kind of alternative punk. I think that's 91, not on the Soul Charge. Anyway, really cool kind of jammy rock stuff. Anyway, first up we got Swamp Surfers. This is kind of just hardcore punk, I guess you'd call it. I believe this is 1987, but anyway, just really cool. As if you can see here, there's they snuck in Jack Nicholson on the cover. Yeah, you can see that Jack Nicholson in there. Anyway, cool. Swamp Surfers. I picked this up for like $8 or something like that, cheap, shipped to my door. So, and then I've been doubling up with stuff on the back. So we got the Vic Vergat here. I'll pull it out so it's not coming, but Vic Vergat, 1981, pre-heavy metal boom. So I'd say if you like Led Zeppelin and Lynyrd Skynyrd, you would probably dig this guy. This is pretty well like if Lynyrd Skynyrd and Led Zeppelin had a baby, it's this guy. And you know what you're getting yourself into if I mention those two bands. I'd say the singer kind of sounds a bit like Led Zeppelin, and then kind of music is kind of Led Zeppelin-y, Lynyrd Skynyrd. And we got some Burning. This is kind of crossover thrash. Burning, cool stuff. And then on the back we got Crackjaw. This is more just heavy metal, standard heavy metal from Germany. Good stuff. Barbwire, I'd say this is hardcore. It is fast. I'd say it's hard punk hardcore. Hype, again, I'd say this is hardcore. This is a Toronto band. I believe this is 1986, 87 on this. All this is most of the whole 80s, right? Obviously, or else I wouldn't have it. But Bob Wire, I think, is 91. Punk hardcore. Hype is about 87. Hardcore, I think I'd say it's pure hardcore. So again, all this stuff is fast. It may not be thrash metal, but it's fast, it's aggressive, it's hardcore. If you do really love your thrash, you'd find some of this stuff appealing. This is a good one, especially I'd say this Burning. This is more straight crossover thrash. Keep it going here. We got trance, heavy metal from Germany. I believe this is 84, 85, and just standard heavy metal. We got their first Hellion EP. Hellion EP, I think it's 83 on that Hellion EP. SGM, this is thrash, hardcore, crossover thrash. SGM Aggression, I forget the year, 87, 88, 89, something like that. We got DBF, Not Bound to Rules. I'd say this is crossover, hardcore crossover. I'd like to say thrash, but it's probably more in the pure hardcore realm. Again, really cool cover. I believe it's 1987. We got TMA's Beach Party 2000. That's actually unopened. I'm just listening to a digital copy, but anyway. This is 1987, 88. And this is really fun punk hardcore. Yeah, I'd say it's punk hardcore. Really fun. And again, I got this end up getting this for like $10 or something like that. Shipped. Yeah, really fun punk hardcore. What else we got here? I'll actually show you. Cry of Terror. This is crossover thrash. Definitely thrash. This is like more of an extreme thrash with like a harsher vocal. I'd say if you like your early Raw Sodom, things like that, maybe like At War, Iron Angel, some like darker side, like the more extreme side of thrash, give this a try. This is extreme thrash, but kind of has like a crossover vocal. This is really unique and groundbreaking. It's called Arm. Arm, It's a Kind of War, 1989, and this is totally ahead of its time, like jazz metal, jazzcore, and it almost sounds like, if anyone's familiar with Ginger, so if you were to take out Ginger's vocals and just like have the djent jazz music, this is kind of what's going on here. It's very technical, very progressive jazz core, if I call it that. Yeah, I guess it'd be a hardcore, but like jazz core. So very ahead of its time. This is just a super unique album. Female fronted. If the female metal fans watching, that's be up his alley. We got Knife Dance. I'd say this is crossover thrash, hardcore. I'd say it's like a hardcore crossover sort of thing. Wolf Hour, 1989, I believe. Yeah, 1989. Really fun. Again, really fun, aggressive, crossover-y, thrash type stuff on the Knife Dance. This is all like fun crossover thrash type stuff. This isn't though. Tsunami. Just a standard heavy metal band. I forget where they're from. They might even be Germany. I seem to get a lot of this German heavy metal. And I believe this is 1984, 85. So a lot of this is like early pre-thrash boom. And we got Fucked, F-U-C-K-T, Fucked, Dimensional Depth Perception. And yeah, this is leaning towards a crossover thrash. Definitely thrashy. And then maybe the harsher vocals, so we got that crossover thrash thing going on, thrashcore. Yeah, that's cool stuff. What else? I don't even know if I can show this guy, but anyway, you got this cover. There's actually Hitler right there. I think you can show Hitler. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think they're promoting it or nothing like that. But anyway, Scorched Earth Policy, Tactics of the Lie. And this is a little bit different. Hopefully that's fine. And this is a little bit different in terms of I don't get into a lot of crust music, like hardcore crust music, you know, like grind and crust. So this is leaning towards more of a crust. It's very extreme, very rough and raw, but I found something about the crust aspect of it being a little bit charming for me. It's kind of like a thrash crust, 1994, and yeah, I definitely say maybe if that's one of the things you give a shot in this video, probably don't give that a shot. It's very crusty. I just found something about it kind of charming. It's not something I normally listen to, but it's very hard, in your face crust, basically. We got Sika's Love Shim, and this is pretty well more pure thrash, actually. 1991, and I actually cool a little bit of history on this is Sika later had to change their name to Strip Mind, and Strip Mind actually recruited a drummer named Sully Erna, and you might have heard the name Sully Erna from he later formed Godsmack. So Sika had this Sika album in 1991. This is pretty well thrashcore, you know, a bit of crossover, but I'd say it's more pure thrash. And they had to change their name, and Sully Erna joined the change name form. And Sully Erna was a drummer, so actually he drummed on the second album, and yeah, he was actually a pretty cool drummer, actually. And we got Sacred Denial, Sifting Through Her Remains. I think this is an 87, 86, 87 on this. And yeah, this is really badass. Hardcore crossover. There is a bit of thrashing going on. I'd say it's more pure hardcore. Touch of thrash in there, but get aggressive, fast, in your face. We got Hell's Kitchen, Fistful of Chicken. I believe this is 1989, 88. And this is really fun crossover thrash. I think it is leaning more towards crossover thrash, even some metal. So I think it's like a metal crossover. There is some things going on there. Not much of a cover, but it's still good music. It actually says 1990, so their first album, sorry, was 1989, and the second one's 1990. But this is kind of metal crossover, metal punk. What do we got here? School of Violence, We the People. I think this is 1988. Thrash, crossover thrash, definitely lots of thrashing going on here. Actually listened to this a couple days ago, and I gave the description is almost sounds like a thrashy version of Motorhead, so it kind of has like that dirty Motorhead sound, but it's like thrashy, so it's like a thrashy Motorhead. Morphine's Your Asphalt Head. This is kind of more jazz punk, kind of like that Arm band that I showed you. It is female fronted, so it's like a alternative punk, experimental, progressive, kind of alternative punk sort of thing, something like that. Really cool stuff. They got Hogan's Heroes, not that great of a cover, but again, the music's great. I'll actually show the back. Yeah, these guys are rocking out. So this is basically crossover thrash. I'd say there's definitely some thrashing going on here. You can see the guitarist there, giving her right there, cool band picture. And yeah, I'd say it's just crossover thrash, crossover hardcore, bit of thrash, bit of hardcore. We got Guillotine, I forget the name of the album, but Guillotine, Bringing Down the Curtain. And this is 1987, 88, I believe. Kind of that mix of hardcore, crossover, and thrash. There's a bit of hardcore, there's a bit of punk, there's a bit of thrash, and they blend it all together, and you get this cool crossover sound, basically. Stuff that got totally thrown under the rug. We got Chrome Molly's Angst and Chrome Molly's from Germany. They're just a regular standard heavy metal band. Yeah, cool band, you know. Nothing that I could get on CD, so I had to get it on vinyl, right? You're not getting Chrome Molly Angst on CD for $5-10 like I did a vinyl. So yeah, and that is not punk or hardcore. It's just more standard heavy metal. There's the back of that Guillotine. Sorry, I double up on all these when I get the sleeves. Subway Arts. This is actually Spanish, I believe. It's actually from Spain. So it's actually all in Spanish. I don't know what they're saying. I have no idea. I just kind of found it a little, just like that scorched earth policy. It's charming. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but it's fast, aggressive, punk hardcore, just in your face. It says go, go, go the whole time. They're yelling, they're screaming, because I don't know what they're saying. So I just kind of found it, just like that scorched earth policy from earlier with Hitler on the front. I just found this really charming. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but aggressive, fast, and something charming about it. I don't even know what I always called it. It's called this. That's the album. I don't know how to say that, but there's Spain. We got Suck Speed's first album, The Day of Light. This is badass crossover thrash. Definitely thrash, crossover thrash. We got Crowd of the Isolated. This is probably more crossover thrash too, I'd call it. Definitely crossover and definitely some thrashing going on here. And yeah, cool little cover there. We got I forget the name of those guys. I forget the name of that type of insect. I forget those guys. Anyway, really cool insects. What's we got here? Oh, Contagion, Roxa. This is actually France. So much like my Spain, this is not in English. This is in French. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but this is just standard heavy metal from 1983. Still in the back? It doesn't show the year in the back, but I think it's 82, 83, Roxa. Again, it's not in English. They're just singing in French. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but something about it's charming. It's cool heavy metal. Pretty early heavy metal. I think it's 82. We got Haywire's Abominations, really badass cover, doing the metal. And this is 1990. This is more pure thrash. I don't think there is some crossover appeal. I'd say this is more pure thrash. The first album was more hardcore crossover than the second album. This album here, they went more pure thrash. And we got the Crumbsuckers, iconic cult, Life of the Dreams. Crumbsuckers is a big cult underground band. And this one's got four corners cut off here. Cut, and cut down here. It's one of those ones that has all the corners cut. But this stuff's getting really hard to get nowadays, so I just scoop up any copy I could nowadays. And I think this is 1986, 87, very fast, aggressive, hardcore. There is some crossover appeal for sure, but these guys are in your face with these 2-minute, really fast, aggressive, hardcore songs. Then we got Plagues, Chainsaw, and Massacre. Really cool name, eh? Chainsaw and Massacre. And I forget the year on this. I think it's 87, 88. And yeah, awesome crossover hardcore, I'd say. I don't think there's too much thrashing going on. It probably would appeal to some thrashers, again, much like a lot of this stuff, but I'd say it is more crossover hardcore, maybe touch it thrash. What's funny about this is the box on this is actually smaller than standard vinyl boxes. You can barely squeeze the vinyl in there. It's actually, I don't know if you can see, but it's slightly smaller than a normal sized vinyl box. Not by much, but you can see right there. That's how much smaller than it is in normal vinyl. So it barely squeezes in there. And on the back of that, we got Unwanted Youth from 1987, I believe. And this is hardcore. I'd say it's more pure hardcore crossover. Very fast, aggressive. I think the whole album's only about 25 minutes, and it's all just go, 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 in your face, fast, aggressive, hardcore crossover. And then we got Rest in Pieces, Under My Skin from Road Racer Records, an original. I believe this is 89, 88. I think it's actually 89, and really awesome crossover thrash. Yeah, just really badass crossover thrash. And on the back, we got from Japan, Mari Hamada, Rainbow Dream. I believe this is 85. I think this is 1985, and it's kind of a cross between AOR, light heavy metal, hard rock, kind of a blend of all those three. You can handle some hard rock, heavy metal, AOR, but you are a sucker for female fronted. To give this a chance, I don't know how the hell I lucked out getting this so cheap, but I did. Along with just an order I made, I was like, oh cool, I can tack this on for 10-15 bucks, cool. And it's got that Obi that everyone goes nuts over, even though if I took the Obi off, you could read the whole title, Rainbow Dream, but you know, kind of gives it that, oh, it's obscure from Japan, and it is obscure from Japan, so yeah, this is 1985, just kind of hard rock, AOR, heavy metal mix. In general, Martin Yamato was kind of following trends, whatever was popular that year, that particular kind of era, she kind of did, right? So it just so happened 1985, 86 was a big heavy metal boom, so this album in particular was leaning more on heavy metal, hard rock phase, but you can imagine as she tailed off in the later half of the 80s, 88, 89, it was much more glammy and mainstream, but this 85, 86 album was kind of more hard rock, heavy metal. And there we go, we got my my first vinyl update collection, so to speak. And thanks for watching, thanks for checking it out. Mosh, subscribe, and see you later.